Hello to all, this is Alejandro Bratti and William B. Isley from Unlock Clarity, and welcome to the Spanglish Word Networks on Single TV channel 250. Please remember to download both the Single TV app on their respective stores on iOS and Android devices. Where you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. The app is free and it's available in Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Roku, and all smart TVs. Today we are so happy, and we were even talking before this call with William about the program today. I believe it's going to be a program that I will take my notes and start to write everything that we are talking because I am going through some of those stuff and things that we are talking. But that's incredible. A lot of the times when we are going through the things, it's the same thing that we are living, and it's amazing. So the series is From Surviving to Thriving. It is the episode number 7. It's incredible. We plan to have 8 programs, and it seems that we will have like 14 or something like that. And it's okay. And at the end, we have a very good program for today. And if we don't have the time to finish everything, it's okay too. So let's continue.
Exactly. It's one of those things where we got into the middle of this and we're going, we really need to give this full, detailed coverage, because if we just rush through it, we're not doing any of you any favors, and ourselves either. So it's been incredible. So the last few episodes, we have discussed the importance of self-awareness, processing difficult emotions, and establishing daily rituals to support our journey from surviving to thriving. And it's been quite insightful so far.
And it's what we are saying. I really enjoy every single program, and even in the way that we're studying and that. Today we're going to talk about something that, for me, it has been a way to understanding a lot of the transformation that I have been going through. So the topic today is self-compassion, and that's when you are a coach and when you are helping others, you focus about compassion to others, not compassion to yourself. So it's completely another thing, and that's why I believe this program is very amazing. It's a quality that can be easily overlooked, especially when we are caught up with the demands of our lives, everything that we are going through.
Yeah, that's totally true. When we're in survival mode, it is easy to be hard on ourselves. We often have this inner critic, or multiple inner critics, depending, that constantly points out the flaws, the mistakes, and this section of the choir makes it difficult to move forward with any kind of confidence or resilience.
And that's exactly why self-compassion is so essential. It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and support that we will offer to a good friend, a person that we are coaching, and a person that we love when they are going through a tough time. It's giving to yourself, not to others, to yourself. So
That kind of reminds me of one of the perspectives in the Southern Baptist religion that I grew up with. It's an acronym for the word joy, which stands for Jesus, others, and you. You always come last. And it's one of those, I had to work my way through that perspective because it wasn't serving me. And so then this perspective of giving ourselves the same support we would someone else. An important thing to remember, though, is that self-compassion is not about being self-indulgent. It's not about making excuses for our shortcomings. It's just simply acknowledging that we're human and accepting that we're not perfect, nor will we ever be. and giving ourselves the space to learn and grow into this
and
called being human.
and that's exactly what we want to say here. It's like that's exactly the point. When we embrace self-compassion, we create a foundation of inner strength, resilience, that is allowing us to weather like life storms and bounce back from setbacks easily. So it's something that it's key for really thriving.
Yes, and I love what Miss Mary J. Featherstone says, love yourself first so you can love others. Absolutely. That's what I tell most of, well, most, if not all of my clients when it comes up. It's like, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. So then today, we're going to explore some practical ways to cultivate this self compassion critter and make it a regular part of our lives. We'll take a look at the benefits, the challenges, and some simple yet powerful practices that can help all of us be kinder to ourselves.
So whether you are an entrepreneur, a business professional, a parent, or anyone who is navigating in the ups and downs of life, it's not about that's what is happening. This episode is for you. It's about embracing self-compassion and taking another step towards thriving.
So then, how do we distinguish between self compassion and self pity or self indulgence?
Mm.
So, before we explore how to cultivate self compassion, let's get clear on what it really means. Alejandro, how would you define self compassion?
So what I was saying in the introduction, it's in its core, self-compassion is about extending the same kindness, understanding to ourselves that we will do to a dear friend, a person that we love, a person that is struggling with someone. It's recognizing that difficulties and imperfections are part of our shared human experience, and treating ourselves gently in the face of pain or failure.
That is beautiful. It's important that we distinguish self compassion from self pity and self indulgence. Self pity says, poor me, I'm so miserable, nothing ever goes my way. It's a victim mindset that keeps us wallowing in suffering.
And self-compassion is acknowledging suffering as part of life. It's not that we are against that. We're not uh, going against any part, but holds with, and we are holding with self-compassion all the suffering, like with care, understanding. It's more like this is really hard right now, and it's okay to feel this way. How I can comfort and support myself in this moment. So something that I was going this morning in myself, like I was like, oh, I don't understand this. We're like, okay, this is part of life. Release, relax, breathe, and start to know that everything happens for a reason. And the reason was this program today. And it's I am here.
Yes, being exactly where we're supposed to be at exactly the right time, damn it, whether we want to be there or not. So then, self indulgence. This is about pleasure seeking without regard for long term well being. Think of grasshopper mentality, Aesop's fables. It's like eating that whole tub of ice cream when being upset, or blowing off work to watch TV all day long. Yeah, that's gonna work.
Yeah, self-compassion, it's more about nourishing ourselves in a balanced way. It might look like a square of chocolate mindfully. That's something that I love to take mindfully, like enjoy every single bite that I take. or taking restorative break in nature, the intention is self-care, not escaping, and that is something very important. It's not about escaping from our lives, it's about nourishing ourselves and embracing ourselves and being able to feel what we are feeling.
Yeah, that was, I have 30 plus years of abstinence in Overeaters Anonymous, and sugar was one of my ways to escape growing up, as well as reading fantasy and sci fi books. But hey, that's neither here nor there, right? So then, another key aspect of self compassion is self acceptance. Oh, dear God, that's so hard. Embracing all parts of ourselves, the high vibration, the low vibration, the light, the shadow, the strengths, the struggles. It's the thing is, it's not about fixing or perfecting. It's rather, it's befriending who we are.
Mm.
Wow.
It's like that's why I was telling that I want to be writing during this program because really all these details is like going directly. So self acceptance is so vital for resilience, and when we are constantly rejecting parts of ourselves, and that's for me when we were even writing this part and preparing ourselves, it's like wow, self acceptance is so vital for resilience. When we are constantly rejecting parts of ourselves, we are in an inner state of conflict and tension. So when I have a conflict because with myself, with people that I love, with people that I don't love, it doesn't matter. But I am in a conflict or in a tension, I am rejecting parts of myself. And when we meet ourselves with compassion, we create an inner ally and safe base to weather life storms.
Absolutely. This is where compassion is such a game changer for shifting out of survival mode. When we're harsh, critical to ourselves, with ourselves, we stay in that threatened and anxious brain state.
So, just entering in this point about rejecting part of ourselves, William, because I that's the way I connected with you and I started to know more about energy and all of that. Like we are rejecting part of ourselves for decades or years and suddenly it's like I am completely lost. So what are the things that you have found when we start to reject ourselves and maybe not once but when it's something that is constantly being done for years to survive in our house, to survive in our work, to survive in different parts of our lives?
One of the things I've realized over the decades, most of these voices, this inner critic voices, they're not even us. They are copies that we've made of influential people in our lives, whether it's parents, children, or not children, but parents, friends when we're children, significant others that didn't work out. It's mind-boggling just how many voices are in here that are playing, pretending like they're us, and they're using the term "you are doing this, you are doing that, you're such a failure," blah blah blah. And a thing that I'm learning is how to either dismantle those voices or remove them wholesale from the choir, essentially energetically coming along and interviewing each member of the choir and going, "Oh, hey, you're just pretending like you're blowing into that horn. Well, I'm sorry, your presence is no longer needed. You're fired. Have a great life." And just learning how to do that energetically, that has been an amazing aspect of this journey of When things happen, it's quiet. Yesterday, I had a 10 o'clock meeting to attend. Alarm goes off at 8. I close my eyes. I open my eyes, and it's 9:20. What did not happen is all of the choir ginning up to sing just how crappy William was. It was wonderful. I went 9:20. Okay, so I can cut this out of my routine and this and this and this, and then I will do X, Y, and Z, and okay, I'll be ready in time. It was wonderful. When was the last time that happened for you? So, any other questions on that one?
Yeah, I am going to bring an example of something that we worked together maybe 2 years ago or something like that. But I remember one of the, it was not the first, but it was in the first month or first that we were working together, and I brought to the table uh, all the tension and the conflict that I had in a part of a project that I had in Costa Rica. And the tension was so because I was working like 12 hours per day, and the project was like we need to have all the results and everything. And in that moment, you helped me visualize, and in the visualization, I could see like the place. I was living here already in Mexico, but what I was looking at was all the walls full of my energy of that place. And it's exactly what we are talking about here. Like we are rejecting parts of ourselves to survive because we're in that survival mode of we need to get ready and have all these projects done. But 10 years later, I realized that I was leaving all my energy in the place. And I could even see all that place full of the energy. And everything was about the conflict and the tension that I had at that moment. I was managing a project and it's okay. And the project was amazing and everything was fine. And the people that I was working with me was amazing. But I
You
didn't know this concept that we are talking about here, like self-compassion and taking care of myself. And I didn't know that when I was in that tension and that conflict that was very high in my life, I was
that,
losing a lot of parts of myself.
that's right. You left a lot of you on the table there. Yeah, I remember that. We just helped you walk through and gather pieces up and put them back. It was wonderful. Yeah.
It was like a big ball of energy. And at the end, why I am talking about this here? Because this example that we are talking about, self-acceptance, self-compassion, embracing ourselves, uh, like nurturing ourselves, understanding that we need to fix ourselves. And it's okay, some tension is always okay. It's the only way to grow. When you go to the gym, if you have some tension, is the way that you can grow muscle. There is no other way. But here it's like when you are in an inner state of conflict and tension all the time. It's not like one repetition or 10 minutes of repetitions or 1 hour repetition. It's like you are living in that state for weeks, months of year or years.
Yeah. It's like if you've ever seen or heard about animals that get scared and they freak out, and then after that whole incident they come back down. Humans are special in that regard. We freak out and we stay freaked out, and living in that state will kill us. I've seen some of my friends go that way. uh so yeah.
So
um
when we are nurturing ourselves with compassion, when we send signals of care and safety, allowing our nervous system, because our nervous system doesn't know if we have a lion behind us or we have our boss behind us. For the nervous system, is the same. Or your wife, or the kid screaming, or anything that is creating this state of tension for a long period of time. The cell phone, exactly. It can be as simple as a cell phone, or the world that we created around us. That thing is creating your nervous system to think like, okay, I need to survive this, and I am going to put myself in survival mode, and I'm going to stay there until I feel safe. But because we are not stopping, we never move from that survival mode. And we were not created to live in survival mode always.
No, it's important that we take the deep breath and we slow down and we let the wise brain come back online. Because literally, when we're in survival mode, the rational thinking brain goes offline.
And
Jeez.
something that happened this morning to me, and that's why I was saying this program for me was is going to be amazing, is I had a situation this morning that created this survival mode that I was stressed and I was even angry about the situation. Something that happened here at home when I came back from doing exercise, and I was like, oh, I don't understand why this is not understood, and or maybe what is happening here, and I was completely like, "Ugh." But using the tools that we are telling you here, I use it in myself. Like I am okay, breathe, and start to release. And I just I was preparing the food for the kids and all of that, and it's like release, release, release. And that doesn't mean that I had a lot of ideas in my head, like, oh, but this and this and this and this is the way, and this is the first time, the second time, the third time. Like I have like all the choir, as we are saying here, telling me like a million of things, million times per second, of why I was right and the other thing was wrong and all of that. And I was like, release the good and the bad, the better and the worst, the release all of that, because that is not going to help me at all. And it's going, my body is going to enter in a survival mode, in an angry mode, in a mode of maybe even fear. Oh, I won't have ways to do it or money to pay that, or like all the things that I can start to have in my mind. So allowing our nervous system to relax, our wise brain to come back online from that resourceful state, we have greater access to perspective, creativity, and coping. And that's this. If we can finish now, like it's done. Thank you very much, everyone. No, I'm sorry, but this is important. At the end, it's the key for everything.
So then, as if you need any, let's look at some examples to bring this to life. Imagine an entrepreneur whose startup is going through a rough patch. Survival mode, they might think, I am such a failure. I will never get this right. I should just quit. Hmm.
That's harsh. With self-compassion, they might reframe it as the startup life is really challenging. It's normal to hit setbacks. I am doing my best to navigate this, and it's okay to feel discouraged sometimes. As the example that I was giving you, what support do I need to keep this going? That's that's what a reframe that we can create.
So let's picture a new parent who's struggling with sleep deprivation and feeling like they're not enough. Survival mode says, other parents handle this so much better. I'm a terrible mother/father.
So self-compassion gently responds, adjusting to parenthood is a huge transition, and it's okay to find it overwhelming at times. It's fine. It's okay. I am human. I am learning. I am growing every day. I am a good parent, even when it's hard.
So we'll have more examples later. These examples, though, show how self-compassion is like a wise, caring inner voice that actually supports and strengthens us through life's trials. It's a powerful ally for simply shifting from just getting by to actually living and thriving in the moment.
And the good news is self compassion is a skill we can practice and cultivate. And that is key. It doesn't matter that you never find time for you, you never think about self love or how you can self accept you. All of that, you can practice and cultivate it. And it's okay if you do it once per day, once per week, but start to do it. It's like building a muscle. Maybe you do it once and then you feel like very sore, and it's okay. You practice again, and the more we exercise it, the more natural it becomes. In the rest of the episode, we will continue working on this.
Exactly. So then, let's move on to the interactive exercise. You want me to run this one?
Go ahead.
Okay. So now that we understand what self-compassion is, let's explore how it shows up for the inner dialogue. We have different voices inside. We have the inner critic, we have the compassionate voice, we have the rest of the choir. Let's do an exercise to identify some of them. So then, let's do an interactive exercise. If you are in a space where you can close your eyes and let your guard down, think about a recent situation where you struggled, you made a mistake. What did your inner voice say at that moment? What tone did it use? Take a minute and write down what you hear.
So in my case, what come is what I was talking to you before, uh, talking about this situation.
Okay, so that was a minute. Seems like forever when you're staring at a screen, at a camera. Okay, now let's move to the next spot. Imagine, if you wish to close your eyes or not, imagine what you might say to a dear friend in that same situation. What words of understanding, comfort, or encouragement would you offer them? Write that down too. I'll pause for a minute. Okay, that was a minute.
So, what did you notice? Uh, the first voice was like your inner critic, and the second, your compassionate voice or inner cheerleader.
So then, let's share some examples from different areas of life to illustrate these voices. In parenting, the critic might say, "You lost your temper with the kids again. What kind of parent are you?" The compassionate voice responds, "Parenting is difficult, and you're doing your best. It's okay to make mistakes. Apologize, repair the situation, and keep learning and growing."
In relationship, we can have that critic saying another failed relationship. You will always have, you will always be alone, and that is like again you're alone even when you are in that marriage, but you are alone because you are failing again. Compassion is going to say something like heartbreak is painful and it's brave of you to keep opening your heart. You are worthy of love, and the right person will appreciate all of you.
Yes. So then, for entrepreneurs, the critic sounds kind of like this. It scolds you. "Your business is struggling. You're not cut out for this." Compassion. Building a business is a courageous journey with ups and downs. Your value is not defined by your successes or your failures. Oh my God, what a concept. Keep learning, adjusting, and believing in your vision.
In health, that critic can be saying, "You escaped the gym again. You are so lazy." Compassion is going to be like, "You're human, and it's okay to miss sometimes." If you are missing a lot of times, it's another thing, it's another topic. But it's if it's something that is happening sometimes, health is about progress, not perfection. What tiny step can you take today to nourish your body and your mind?
Wow. For managers, the critic judges. "Your team isn't performing well. You're a lousy leader." Compassion comes back and reassures. "Leading a team is challenging, and everyone is learning and growing, including you. How can you support and develop your team with empathy and wisdom?"
As an employee, we can have that critic saying, "You made a mistake in that report, you're going to be fired." That's something that we have like a lot of times. Compassion is going to say mistakes happen and they don't define your worth or competence. Take responsibility, learn from it, and keep contributing your best.
So notice how the critic's voice is often harsh, judgmental, and catastrophizing. It amplifies our fears and doubts, and it keeps us stuck in survival mode.
In contrast, the compassionate voice is understanding, encouraging, and grounded in reality. It acknowledges the difficulties of the situation, validates our human experience, and gently guides us forward.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So then, to cultivate more compassion, we can start by simply noticing the inner dialogue without judgment, mind you. When you catch the critic berating you, pause and ask, "What would I say to a friend in this situation?" It's important. This shifts us into a more caring perspective.
And this is really key. At the end, the idea is to reframe. That's what we are talking, our self-talk. So in NLP, there is different options. It's like I am myself, but when I have empathy, for example, I am connecting with William, and I am connecting with him, and I am feeling what he's feeling. What we're saying here is go to a third or fourth position where you can see the whole picture, and it's like, okay, Alejandro is there. He has a lot of voices in his head where this critic is saying some things, but that's a critic voice. He can choose between that critic, and he can choose and with the other, the self-compassion. You have the option. Both are there, and you decide who you're giving your power. If you give it to the critic, or you're giving it to the other one. So the reframing is giving it to the self-compassion and talking about, like, instead of saying I am a failure, try I am learning and growing. It's okay. It's the same thing, but stop saying yourself you are a failure, because you are not. You are learning and growing. Instead of saying I am not good enough, affirm I am doing my best, and that's enough. This small shift make a big difference over time.
An important thing to remember, the word fail is an acronym. It means first attempt in learning. What's bad about that? So then, another powerful practice, self-compassion breaks. Whenever you're struggling, pause, place a hand on your heart, take some deep breaths, and offer yourself some words of kindness like, this is hard. I'm here for you. You're not alone. Things that you wanted to hear when you were young and going through some of these situations, and maybe you didn't hear them. Those kinds of things. Now, something that I want to bring up is we make this sound easy. We have a lot of practice, decades, years and decades worth. And an important thing to remember is that some of these critics have taken on a life of their own. And some of them are stronger than us. And we've been running those programs for decades. And so simply reframing and saying the nice stuff. This is a thing that I'm working through now. Is I've had a particular member of the choir in place for 30 years. And without doing my energy work to dismantle this voice, it was impossible to make any progress or even practice these things that we're suggesting. So remember, some of this is, I'm not running down the whole thing of it's in your head, because it is. And thoughts are things. So remember, if you are unable to practice any of this because the members of your choir are beating you up so badly, remember, it could be an energetic program that you don't know that particular version of Kung Fu to take them out. It's okay.
And something that is key here is we are here to tell you, not, we are giving you examples and things that you can start to do. But if you can't and you need help, because there is a lot of times, even today, I had like, okay, now William, please hear me about this situation that happened, just to reframe everything. That is key. Like, we are so used to be alone, trying to get out of all the things that we had, and it's not the way it has to be. You can go faster, quicker, and move faster from any situation if you start to ask for help. and find people that you trust and start to work with them. And if you trust in us, we work on this and we help a lot of people on these areas. William is doing that every single day. I am doing that every single day. That's what we are doing. And we are not telling you this because we want to sell you something, but if you are having any situation and you need it, look for help. Look for somebody to help you. Like, okay, I have this choir that is killing me and I can get out. It's okay. There is someone there outside there that is ready to help you, to give you a hand and help you. So that's at the end. And something key in this conversation that we have today is cultivating self compassion is a journey, it's not a destination. And that's key. Again, it's about the process, it's not about the destination, it's not about the goal, it's about the process and who are you becoming in the process. Be patient, gentle with yourself as you learn this way of relating. Little by little, you are going to strengthen. So that's at the end what we are saying is maybe in the last 10 years you have been giving all your power to the critic and the compassionate you don't even know that exists inside of you. So don't think that in one call because you listen to William and Alejandro, now you have the solution. It's like, okay, awesome. Thank you for the awareness. That's why talking about self-awareness was key. Now we're talking about self-compassion. It's a voice that is inside of you that you can give power. And that's what we are saying here. So start little by little. Every time that you have that critic that is uh, telling you all the things that we are saying, you can transform that and start to find the give the power to the self-compassion, not the inner critic.
All right.
So I have several examples, but we won't have time to go through them. Maybe we will go directly to the conclusion.
Yeah, we can pick up on these next week.
Yeah.
'Cause I think they're very powerful. Take it
So
away.
everything that we have talked today, it's about self-compassion, and I we want you to reflect on all of this. It's not about self-pity. It's not about indulgence. It's not about wallowing in our suffering or escaping into unhealthy habits. It's about acknowledging our pain or the situation that we are going through and taking care of ourselves in a balanced and nurturing way.
Yeah, through the interactive exercise, we identified the different voices that were inside the harsh inner critic, the wise, compassionate cheerleader, and probably several others. We saw how shifting from self judgment to self compassion can profoundly impact our resilience and well being across all areas of life.
So as we move forward on this journey from surviving to thriving, remember to cultivate self-compassion as a practice. It's a muscle that you can strengthen over time, and it's like you can go to the gym right now and start. If you haven't been there, find 100 pounds and try to lift it. It's not possible. So start with a 10 pounds and it's okay, and then you can start to grow. So the action steps.
Number one, start a self compassion journal. Each day, write down one situation where you struggled or felt inadequate. Then, write a compassionate response to yourself as if you were comforting a friend. Notice how this shifts your perspective and emotional state.
Second, practice a self-compassion break. Whether you notice you are being hard on yourself, pause and place your hand on your heart. And that's a way to connect. Why we are putting here the hand? Because that's a way that we are can direct our focus to our heart, and the compassion is an emotion from the heart. Offer yourself some kind words like this is a moment of struggle, but the struggle is part of life. Be kind with yourself, and enjoy the moment.
Number 3, create a compassionate inner dialogue. Pay attention to your self-talk throughout the day. When you catch your inner critic, gently reframe the words to be more understanding and supportive. For example, instead of I'm a failure, try using I'm learning and growing.
And if you heard the whole program, the number 4, it's exactly what we have been telling you the whole program. It's treat yourself like a good friend. I know that the majority of the time when we see a good friend that is suffering, we know what to tell to them. But when we are suffering, we don't know what to tell to ourselves. That's what we are saying. Treat yourself like a good friend. At yourself. If my best friends were in this situation, feeling what I am feeling, what would I say to them? And you will have a very good answer with that. Offer those words to yourself and give yourself that compassion, and you are going to start to see a big shift.
Definitely. Number 5, join a self-compassion community. Surround yourself with people who are also committed to practicing self-compassion. This could be an online forum, a local meetup group, a circle of friends who support each other in being kind to themselves. Sharing your journey with others can provide inspiration, accountability, and a sense of common humanity.
And remember, self-compassion is a journey, it's not a destination. Be patient and gentle with yourself. You learn this new way of being. Celebrate every, and I am saying every, like every, small victories, not only the big ones, even the little ones. And forgive your missteps. If you have any misstep, each moment is a fresh opportunity to choose kindness over criticism.
So, as we close this particular part of the series, we invite you to make a commitment to yourself, a vow to practice self compassion daily to the best of your ability. Write the commitment down, place it somewhere you can see it, and let it guide you. So then,
Okay, so
yeah,
yeah.
join
So
us
thank
because
you everyone for this program. Really, William, I needed this program today. So not only the people that was here, but I also needed that. And thank you for this moment. Any last word to close?
just remember, be kind to yourself. Be as kind as you can in the moment. Try to stay in the moment, neither future nor past.
So thank you everyone. Next week, well, nothing next week, but in 2 weeks. Next week is Holy Week in Latin America, and I know that Friday is a Good Friday, so it's going to be a time to be with our families. This show can also be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and leave it. Thank you all. See you next in 2 weeks.